Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. This webinar on LearnLaunch MassNet provides some essential background information on the project that you'll be participating in this school year. The presentation is about a half an hour, but please feel free to move through this at your own pace. We're going to start by introducing you to our professional learning community. This year we will be using Google Classroom as an online professional learning environment. And we'd like you to take a minute now to open up a new tab and log in to Google Classroom. So you'll see the instructions posted on the left with the URL to enter and the class code for the professional learning community. Once you're logged in, you'll click on the LearnLaunch MassNet class. And you'll see the stream that pops up here. So first, we'd like to know who you are. So if you could, in the class comments, provide just a short description of who you are, the grade and subject you teach, and we've asked just a brief line on if and how you're using technology for learning. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that we have an assignment related to this cohort orientation webinar for you to fill out the feedback forms, just 3 quick questions to let us know how we did. And if you have any questions or comments that come up while you're listening to this webinar, if you could post those as a comment on the Google Classroom, that would be great. And we're going to continue to use this environment for professional development and to provide resources. Keep in touch and have discussion throughout this year. So the goals of our webinar today are really to give you an overview of the who, the what, the why of MassNet. Why are we doing this work? How are we doing this work? When and where MassNet as a project will be happening. So by the end of the webinar, we hope participants will have a good understanding of the questions listed here. Now I'm going to introduce our LearnLaunch and Boston Public Schools team. These are the people who are going to be supporting you this year. So I'll start with myself. My name is Megan Smallage, and I'm the Professional Development Project Manager for LearnLaunch MassNet.
Hi everyone, this is Ann Kaufman, and I'm Director of Educator Initiatives at LearnLaunch, and I work on a variety of projects. MassNet is one of them.
Hi, I'm Steve Newton. I'm the Research Director here at LearnLaunch MassNet.
Hi all, I am Diane Hauser from the Boston Public Schools Technology Department. I'm happy to support you this year in this initiative.
Hi everyone, my name is Roy Chan. I'm also at BPS out of our Office of Innovation and also work with the Mayor's Office on technology things. Really excited about this work.
Great, and this is Meg again. So we have a fantastic team supporting you, and each person is going to take a turn describing some areas of the project that are related to the work that they do and the support they'll be able to offer. But first, I just want to give you a little bit of background on who is LearnLaunch and what is this MassNet project. So LearnLaunch is really 3 things. Altogether, it's an institute, which is the nonprofit branch of LearnLaunch, doing work to connect and support the EdTech community here in Boston and beyond. But we're also an accelerator, so we work with EdTech startups to help them move from where they are to wherever they want to go. So we pair them with mentors and help them to get established in the EdTech community. We're also a campus, so oftentimes programs who join our accelerator will work here with us. We have space available for people who are interested in the EdTech sphere to come and work together, and we're located downtown in Boston. So MassNet fits into the institute piece of LearnLaunch, and we really work to connect the school and teachers with the rest of the EdTech community in the work that we do. So who is MassNet? We're a community of educators and we're all interested in using ed tech and data gathered from the tools that you'll be able to try out this year to move your instruction from learning that is traditional to learning that is more blended and personalized. So we'll be talking a little bit more about what that means in the following slides. We did this work for the first time last year. We worked with 6 great schools. You can see them listed under the 2015-2016 cohort here. And we have some schools returning from our 2015-2016 cohort to join us for Cohort 2, that's you guys, this year. And we have a range of schools, and we're working with students all the way from kindergarten age through middle school level. So we're really excited to be working with the schools listed here, and we are excited to welcome 1 or 2 more schools that may be joining us before sort of the beginning of the school year or early fall. So we also want to make you aware that the work that we do through the MassNet project at LearnLaunch is actually part of a network of organizations that are doing similar work nationally. Leap Innovations, who works with Chicago Public Schools, Digital Promise, and New York iZone. We work with Citizen Schools and also the Highlander Institute in Rhode Island. So each of these organizations are doing similar projects to MassNet, where they are working with teachers to help them pilot, select, and evaluate digital tools to use in their classroom and work towards personalized learning. And so we as a community are called the Learning Assembly, and we gather together about twice a year to share best practices and learnings from the work that we're doing together. So the work that you're doing as a teacher in MassNet is really part of a larger national endeavor to find out more about how this work is happening and what the best practices are for implementing new tools and measuring their effectiveness. These are the goals of MassNet. We're essentially, as I mentioned, bringing together you guys, Boston Public Schools teachers, and helping you to identify instructional goals around literacy and ELA, and then providing you with access to digital tools that we feel and you feel are a good fit for those instructional goals that you've outlined. So we help you to implement those digital tools and evaluate those digital tools over the course of a year. We're hoping to engage you in this process and then share what we hear and the feedback that we get from you with product developers and other educators. And essentially, it's all in service of becoming smarter about how to deploy digital instructional tools in a way that has a positive impact on student learning. So those are sort of the big picture goals for MassNet. If you're interested in understanding more about the specific roles and responsibilities around being a teacher participating in MassNet, we have those listed on our Google Classroom page under the letter of commitment, and I've posted a link to that here. So you can review that if you are interested in understanding that a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to pass it over to Anne, who's going to talk a little bit about moving to personalized learning.
Okay, we are very interested in your having a clear understanding about what personalized learning means. This is a term that's used by many people, and often different people have different expectations about what it looks like. But we want to today give you a little exposure to what moving to personalized learning looks like in action. So please take a moment to watch a short video and hear from students and teachers.
I'm on my computer a lot.
Email,
Google Docs,
Google Search,
Snapchat.
Technology has revolutionized our world. We can connect and learn
Photoshop,
and create and share. We have immediate, improved, and personalized access to the world.
Google.
Nothing in our modern lives remains untouched by this powerful transformation,
Instagram.
except for education. The big idea behind blended learning is combining online learning in brick-and-mortar schools with teachers where students can learn at their own pace so that they can optimize their individual learning.
Combining the best of teacher instruction and computer-based instruction.
The world that we live in today isn't about paper and pencil, it's about computers. Having our kids become comfortable and familiar with that now is going to better prepare them for the world when they leave this school.
Blended learning can actually personalize for every student's individual needs to meet them where they are when they need it.
We are doing students and ourselves a great disservice to assume they all learn in the same way. So we need something new, and that's blended learning.
When you walk into a blended learning school, what you'll see is small groups of students off with their computers working away on online learning programs, and another group of students in small groups doing rich interactive projects with each other and really collaborating as peers.
I'm able to now focus on smaller groups of kids, give them more individual attention, and help them with their individual learning styles.
Before, you're moving at the pace of the average of your 30 kids. Now you can really move at the pace of each individual student.
The teacher has the opportunity to look at data in the moment, in the minute, to know where our kids are immediately, informs instruction in the next period or the next morning.
In a regular classroom, it might take a week for you to get your test back. I can take a test twice in one class, get my feedback almost instantly, and figure out what I need to improve on.
Blended learning makes you in charge of your pathway, knowing how to navigate what you need and when you need it.
And that's true learning and knowledge. It's when you're able to apply content into real life.
All 50 million of America's students deserve the opportunity to have blended learning so that they can personalize their education and realize success in life.
50 million.
50 million students.
50 million
50 million
students.
students.
50 million students.
Students in America.
In America.
50 million students in America.
So I hope that the video is giving you some concrete and very pragmatic ways of thinking about personalized learning and how to move there. MassNet's focus is providing you with the digital courseware to help you get more personalized learning going on in your own classroom. And over the year, you'll experience what that looks like and what fits best for you. I'd like to now tell you about what is personalized learning in terms of a definition that we've been working on in Massachusetts. We are offering you a definition of personalized learning that is newly developed by LearnLaunch and the State Department of Education. There are various pathways to personalized learning, and you'll find that some of your own work will connect with various parts of these definitions. This definition captures all the essential ingredients of the models we now work with, and clearly the technology is essential to accelerate and scale personalized learning. This is a dense definition, but I'd like to pause for a minute in order for you to read the definition and absorb it a little bit yourselves. So you'll be experiencing some of these components in your classroom as you implement digital courseware and move more along the spectrum to personalized learning. And we'll be looking forward over the year to learning more from you about what stands out in this definition in terms of your own teaching. So now I'm going to pass it over to Roy, who's going to tell you a little bit about Boston Public Schools.
What Anne just described in this LearnLaunch project really aligns well with what the Boston Public Schools is thinking about personalized learning as well. On this slide, you will see a description of our strategic plan as it relates to personalized learning. I won't go into detail here and read it, but just want to mention that this is part of our plan to foster equity, coherence, and innovation. This next slide, I think, really summarizes how we are thinking about personalized learning and how blended learning fits into that. In transitioning to more personalized learning environments, we want to take our traditional learning model, where the teacher is at the center of learning, and really transition it to a place where students are at the center, and they can take advantage of all different resources in their classrooms, such as blended learning, as well as the different learning opportunities that are available to them throughout Boston. So we think of personalized learning as a way of really giving students opportunities to self-pace based on their needs, or self-determining based on what their interests are, and ultimately creating a learning experience that is self-actualizing. And the current ed tech tools and the ed tech tools that are provided by LearnLaunch will really help to address that piece of self-pace based on needs in blended learning, as again we move more towards personalized learning. Focusing just on blended learning right now, we've also at Boston Public Schools developed a draft framework of 7 components of implementing blended learning successfully. We've kind of broken up the 7 components into the 3 buckets of the data-wise protocol that you'll see actually later on in this presentation. But the first 3 components are really under this prepare category, which is designing the model. How do we think the use of ed tech and our blended learning models aligns to the needs of our students and what we're trying to do in our classrooms? The second is the actual technology. What are the devices, the content, the internet that we really need to do this successfully? And the third is thinking through the finance. How do we do this in a way that is sustainable, not just this year, but in years ahead? After getting those 3 things down under the preparing, under Inquire, we've added 2 components on mindsets and skills for both teachers and students. We think that blended learning ultimately is a rethinking and redesigning of the classroom experience, both for educators and for students. As we move more towards blended and ultimately more towards personalized learning, we ought to be rethinking what are the different skills and the supports that teachers and students need. And last, under ACT, our 2 components here, communications and improvement. We know that when we are thinking about redesigning the classroom and introducing technology, that it's super important to be communicating with everyone who's involved, not just teachers and students, but also with parents and communities. And then also improvement. We want to make sure that this year is just the first year of a longer push and longer initiative to really do blended well and to do personalized learning well. And we're going to be really leaning on you guys as teachers, as the actual practitioners, on how do we learn, how do we improve. And throughout this process, you're going to be getting support from both Boston Public Schools and LearnLaunch. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Diane Hauser from our digital learning team, who will talk about ways that BPS can support you this year.
Hi everyone, this is Diane from the BPS Technology Department, and I just wanted to take a moment to share some supports that we have in place. Because when we embark on innovative tech projects, there are sometimes bumps along the road, but we in the tech department, we have some fantastic new supports this year that we are really excited about. Supports that are going to help you in your classroom. The first is the digital backpack. This year, our BPS digital backpack is actually, it's a collection of teacher-approved curated applications, but for this year, it's powered by Clever, which will enable single sign-on and an automatic sync to our student information system. And it creates student accounts and updates classroom rosters and online applications. The digital backpack works with the Chrome browser and Chromebooks. What's new this year with our backpack is that it's powered by Clever, and we can customize it so their school-specific apps can be added to your backpack, which creates a custom portal for your students. It can be customized by school, by grade, and by students. So we're very excited about that. What you see on the screen is, on the left-hand side, is the Boston Public Schools log-on. Students will be able to, can log in with their user ID and password, or through a QR code. So the QR code is basically the badge system. And we're thrilled that this will be an easier way for our younger students to log into their device and access their application. So if you could see one of our students on the right-hand side using a badge. It's simply like scanning their QR code, and voila, they're in. So we're excited about those two initiatives, those two features of the backpack. We have specific directions on how you can access the QR codes and distribute to your students. For the older grades, we also have a new password reset tool. So for grades 3 and up, we're launching our new password reset tool that students can actually reset on their own if passwords are forgotten. So one of the technical bumps may be remembering your username and password. So we have some systems in place to support that. We also have GoGuardian, which is a management software for Chromebooks. And it enables you as a teacher to view live screenshots of all your student Chromebooks so that you can actually refocus students if they're off task. If you're interested in accessing GoGuardian or to obtain a license, we have a learning module on BPS Learns that we can enroll you in, and then you can receive a license. In addition to that, we have video tech tips that are being published weekly. As always, the service desk is open Monday through Friday, 635-9200 from 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, and on vacations, 8 to 4. Last but not least, by participating in this initiative, you have the added support of the LearnLaunch and BPS teams. So we'll be visiting your classrooms and obtaining feedback from you and moving forward with support. So that's it.
Great, thank you. So just a quick little overview. We can talk more about this in our school orientations that we have scheduled with each team. But I wanted to give you a sense of how this process is going to work and what it actually means and looks like for you as a teacher as you're planning your year. So we have this visual here that gives you a bit of a sense, and again, you can visit that letter of commitment link for a more detailed outline of exactly what will happen each month throughout this school year. But just to give you a sense, in August and September, we will be, of course, doing the orientations to give you kind of an overview of this project and help you define that instructional goal. And then we'll be matching you with different products that we feel would be a good fit for meeting that goal that you define. Ultimately, the final selection of the product will be up to you and your team. And we will work together on that, again, in your school orientation. Once that process is complete and you've selected your product, we'll move into training. So in many cases, representatives from the product will come to your school to deliver that training to you or provide it in an online form. Moving into the fall and October, November, December, you'll begin implementing that tool and start to provide some feedback to us on what you're noticing in the implementation process and the work with your students. Following that, for many of the products, there is a data coaching session so that you can make sense of some of the data that you're getting through the use of the product. And then towards the end of December, we really start to ask you more questions about what you're noticing and how you're liking the product and whether or not it's making a positive difference for you. We'll be doing some focus groups, some observations, and some interviews with teachers, and then helping you to evaluate whether you would like to keep the product that you're working with, add something new, or change altogether. And if you do decide to make an addition or a change, you start the process all over again, starting with training and implementation, and do a second cycle of piloting an additional or a new product. So that's essentially how MassNet works. That's the implementation and pilot process that we are going to go through. And I want to pass it over to our research director here at LearnLaunch MassNet, Steve, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about what participation means for teachers.
Hi, I just want to go over how this project involves both a practice component and a research component as well. So this participation is going to be an ongoing problem-solving process after selecting your digital tool and your instructional goal, the key things that we're asking for you to do would be to try to use the products approximately 45 minutes a week. It kind of depends on the product. Some might be more intensive, some might not be. But to use the product, and also take on a teacher as researcher role and continually problem solve how the software is useful, how it might be useful for you as a teacher in your professional judgment, and then evaluate and piloting the process throughout the year. Thus, I just want to really highlight that it's your professional judgment and creativity that will be important for evaluating these products. Next, at the end of last year, teachers reflected on their experiences and talked about their intentions for the future. Here are a few of the things they were thinking about blended and personalized learning. Take a couple minutes to read through their comments. So as you can see, teachers were excited to continue on their path of personalized learning at the end of the first year of the project. They found the tools were useful, and this was something that they felt was important for their role as a teacher going forward. Now I'm going to hand back to Meg, and she has some final reflections and points to some resources for you.
Great. So if we've done our job well today, we hope that you've gained a better understanding of the questions above. And again, if you do have questions or things that you would like to discuss, please visit the Google Classroom environment that we've set up and reviewed at the beginning of the webinar to ask any of those questions and enter any of those comments there where we can address them and discuss them with you. We have a list of resources. We talked about a lot of different things in this orientation, and so we wanted to provide links to those things so that you can explore as you would like to. So we have the link to Google Classroom in the letter of commitment that we mentioned. We have more information on Google Classroom resources from Boston Public Schools. We have a link to our community website, which we'll talk more about in our school orientation. It provides general information on some of the products that you may be considering and other resources for you. More information on the National Learning Assembly, the link to the video that you watched, and also a link to your digital backpack through Boston Public Schools and a resource guide for that. So lots of resources, and we realize that you can't click on links because this is a video. So we will post the slide underneath this video so that you can go through and click on this link. It'll make it nice and easy for you. So that brings us to the end of the orientation. Again, be sure to check off that you completed this orientation in Google Classroom. And in terms of next steps, we're really looking forward to meeting with each team at their school, at the school orientation. If you're not sure when your orientation is, please make sure you check with your team leader, as we have scheduled all of these. You should be budgeting for about 90 minutes, and we're hoping to meet with the whole team. We are looking forward also to September, including the digital tool selection. So again, in that orientation, we'll be helping you really fine-tune that instructional goal that you have and helping to match you with products that feel like a good fit for that. It's also a good time to make sure you're working to collect the permissions forms, which we've sent around to your principal. And towards the end of September, we'll be looking at setting you up with those product trainings and, of course, implementing those tools. So team leaders, I will be in touch with you to schedule those trainings once you've actually made the selection and we've done that school orientation. So those are just things to be mindful of for the month of September, when, of course, you're doing a million other things to get ready and start your school year. But we will do our best to support you as best we can and make it as easy and seamless as possible. Thanks very much again, and we look forward to meeting all of you. Have a great start to the year. See you soon.